In this playlist series regarding the drash, the context of Yeshayahu, that's Isaiah chapter 7, the Alma birth, often rabbis in Judaism will accuse believers like myself in the virgin birth as departing away from or deviating from the simple text, the Peshat, the simple story within the context of that chapter 7, and making their strongest cases against the virgin birth by sticking to just the Peshat, just the simple text and the context in that chapter 7. Now, within my playlist series teaching on Yeshayahu chapter 7, expounding upon the simple Peshat text and the Hebrew grammar of that drash and context within that chapter, and the logical conclusions within that chapter, where have I departed or deviated from the simple text? Of course, I think we all agree that we can go deeper than the Peshat, but we can't completely ignore and debunk or contradict seriously the simple text either. And so where have I? Where is some evidence? And I encourage you to post it on this video teaching, or within that video teaching itself on the drash, and the context and the grammar, any of the teachings within this video playlist on this topic. And perhaps, now I'll conclude with this playlist series on this topic, that it is also important to look very carefully at the key chapters before and after chapter 7 of this very important book, as it is written in the very chapter before chapter 7, in chapter 6 of Yeshayahu, that's Isaiah, chapter 6, read verses 9 through 10. It says, "And he," the Most High here we're talking about, Ancient of Days, "said, go and tell this people." Who is this people? He's referring to Yisrael, including all 12 tribes here, even though they were separated at the time. He's, go tell this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive. Verse 10, make the hearts of this people dull. Sounds like a little bit more than just the Peshat here, the simple text. And their ears heavy. And shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and return and be healed. So we see here a very important clue that he's going to hide some very important things that, and I'm not meaning to point fingers here, but this is where we all have to conclude for ourselves, and want to encourage you not just to believe me or just to believe any rabbis or Torah teachers out there, but really check up and intelligently research the logic, the explanations, the possible interpretations. And often there's more than one, so we have to look at what's the most probable within everything we see here. And so this is a very important chapter. We see that many will be spiritually blinded and deaf. Not physically, but spiritually blinded and deaf, caused by him, to the most simple, basic truth within the Peshat, the simple text and the context. Our Creator, in other words, intentionally hides truth at times, and of course has his own timing of revealing, just like with Joseph revealing it to his brothers eventually that he wasn't just some Egyptian second in command of Egypt, but he was a lot more than that. He was their brother. But so sometimes the timing is held intentionally, even by the Most High here, at least until the timing or the hearts are made right within each person, according to his will and his timing, as we see in Proverbs, as I pointed out in the series, Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 2, where he intentionally hides things for his glory and wants us to search him out, to seek him, to put him first in our seeking in relationship here. So this expresses the simple text, and it can, even within the simple text, there can be disagreements. And there's many disagreements we see even within Judaism regarding trying to understand the scriptures, and different sects of Judaism for that matter. And we can't expect everyone to agree at this time, and to see even simple and clear truth. Sometimes it takes just a miraculous revelation on the sod level from the Most High. So we should all seek and conclude for ourselves. Like I said, I'm not trying to do any brainwashing or playing word games or be too dogmatic with things that we should not be overly dogmatic, and I'm not pointing the finger. Maybe I'm deceived and you're not, or maybe you're deceived and I'm not, or maybe we're both a little bit deceived. But this is where we need to have respect and love for one another, and for those who are sincerely seeking truth and coming to the conclusions the best we can with whatever help we can receive from him. So ask for yourself, after looking at all the evidence, and ask who specifically fulfilled the Alma birth in Yeshayahu chapter 7, Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. Who fulfilled that? Who do we see, or do we see, in fact, not just who, but do we see this prophecy being fulfilled already, and by who? Or have we been hardened? Are we still hardened or stiff-necked against or blinded to the best factual evidence relative to the text, the holy writings here, scriptures? As another example, in the context of this chapter 7, how about just a couple chapters later, referring to this child? Here we see in Yeshayahu chapter 9, that's Isaiah 9, beginning in verses 5 and 6, depending on whether you have the Christian Bible or a Tanakh that was translated into English by Judaism scholars and Hebrew translators. Verses 5 or 6 here, it says, "For a child," this is a child, looking at the context, going back to chapter 7, verse 14, "a child is born unto us, a son is given to us." This is not the Father. It says, "Dominion will rest on his shoulders, and he will be given the name," Hashem, he will be given the name Pele Yoetz, which means wonderful counsel, or wonder of a counselor. Also, not just that name, notice there's more than one name here that he's given. El Gibor, Almighty, the Almighty. Given that name too. Aviad, this child, he's not the Father, but he's given the name Father of Eternity. Now there's males today named Aviad, like Aviad Cohen. You can see a song that he wrote and sings on YouTube called "Hooked on the Truth." He gives his testimony there. But just because you have the name Aviad doesn't mean you are the Father, but he is sharing that name with this special child, all these names here. Also, Sar Shalom, which means Prince of Peace. And I explained this a little bit more in my previous video teaching, but this is also included as the context of chapter 7, chapters before and chapters after, giving us clues. Here, he also has the name Emmanuel, as it's pointed out earlier. So more than just one name here. In order to extend verses 6 or 7, depending on your scriptures, your book here, it says, in order to extend the dominion and perpetuate the peace, the shalom, of the throne and kingdom of David, to secure it and sustain it through justice and righteousness, henceforth and forever. Yes, forever. The zeal of the holy name here, if you may say Adonai, but the Yud He Vav He Tzavayot here, of hosts, will accomplish this. So as I pointed out earlier, the Father shares his name and a number of names and titles. And he himself has the different names and titles, not just just the holy name, but we see names and titles throughout the Tanakh of the Father and even the Mashiach, the coming Messiah. Kind of like a father and son or junior. We have like Sammy Davis and then Junior, both having the same name, but not the same exact person, but also being one coming from the other, the seed of the other, and two different persons, of course, but sharing responsibility, title, fruits. We see even Moshe. He says, the Most High says, you will be Elohim and Aaron will be your prophet. And so we see that even Moshe representing the Most High and being like the Most High to Pharaoh. So it's not just a foreign thought or some made-up imagination within Christianity here. It's right in the scriptures, and without departing from the Peshat simple text of the virgin birth, the Alma birth. We see the Son of the Most High. We see Emmanuel, that he is with us through this Son and through the virgin birth Son, of course, Ha Moshiach.